There was a particular girl who went on popular social media, and she was just downplaying me because of the color of my skin. And her comments were, oh, I love spice and everything, but I just feel like spice and bleach and turn up our thing. I mean, in Jamaica, I think society makes them feel like you have to have a lighter color to look better or to get through society better.
Cause I'm a boss.
Little Caesar, the bitch pleaser.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about Kimberly Denise Jones. She is later known as Little Kim. She was born July 11th, 1974. I wanted to do this video because when I look around and I look at the women in today and I look at the way we are grooming ourselves as women and becoming who we claim to be as a woman, I noticed that a lot of us are following in the footsteps of Little Kim. We tend to change our looks and we love the slay and we love that we are able to change our looks up, every now and then. But I noticed that it has become dependent on. Changing our looks, it used to be fun, but now I feel like we are depending on weaves, wigs, fake contacts, fake tans, just about fake everything to be more appealing when it comes to beauty. And I wanted to talk about this because basically for Little Kim, it started off as innocent, it started off as fun. It started off as, ooh, let me do this look, let me do that look. And then all of a sudden, somehow we ended up here to where we don't even recognize her. I will admit, I have been victim to weaves, wigs, fake contacts. Also, understanding that at the time I was young and I was trying to find myself, and wigs are very convenient, especially for Black women when it comes to our hair. But at one point in my life, I remember writing this in my journal that I was depending on weaves, wigs, makeup to feel alive. And I kind of lost myself at that time in my life because I was just wearing the shit too much. I wasn't taking breaks. And what I mean by taking breaks, taking out the weave, taking out or taking off the wigs and not wearing makeup to make myself feel beautiful and just embracing myself naturally. So I wanted to focus on this in this video, but I also wanted to talk about the Black hypocrisy in the Black community and how hypocritical we can be when it comes to Little Kim, because she didn't become who she is today just out of thin air. This is a woman that was in an industry as a Black, brown woman trying to build a career in a very colorist industry. And now that it's 2019, of course, we're sitting here, we're calling it out. But back then, they were covering it up. No one was really speaking out on colorism. It was more acceptable to be a colorist because we were brainwashed to believe that lighter complected individuals were placed on a pedestal and that we should all achieve to look that way. So Little Kim is a product of her environment, and I asked myself, how many more Little Kims are we raising when it comes to the Black and brown community?
Why do I look the way I look? Well, it's my image. If people didn't see this on me, they probably would walk past me. If I walked around in jeans and sneakers, they probably would walk past me because it's my image. It's helped me a lot. A lot of men flock to me. They flock to my poster. They flock to my personality as well, and they see that I'm not a dizzy broad, if they may say a dizzy female. But
When's the last time that you told a Black woman that she was beautiful? No matter the shade. When was the last time you actually gave a compliment to a Black woman? This goes for both male and female. When was the last time you just simply complimented another Black woman, another woman of color? I personally noticed that with watching these interviews with Lil' Kim, she became who she was mainly for her image, mainly for her lyrics. I mean, she was rapping some very explicit things back then, and it was very unknown. It was unheard of for a woman to rap the way that she was rapping. But a lot of cases, if you watch majority of her interviews, she always speaks on her image and how men really weren't paying her any attention until she started doing the colorful wigs and the contacts.
The flack of my music has done a total 360. I can't even believe it. I thank God so much. I thank God that I'm starting to get a little love now. Because I remember back in the days when I first came out, I used to be sad and you know, thinking, well, did I do the wrong thing? Even though I didn't regret anything because I loved my music.
I'll be undressed in the bra, all see-through.
My whole thing, what I do is an image. One day you may catch me in a purple wig. You may catch me in a green wig. That's what I do. You may catch me in different color eyes. That's what I do.
And if you look at today's industry, when it comes to the music industry, you have artists that are following her footsteps. It also seems like the only time a Black woman, a brown complected woman, an artist within the industry, it seems like the only time they can get sales is when they overly sexualize themselves. And what I mean by overly sexualized, they have to go to the extreme to sell their music. And it's something that I noticed when I started looking up different artists that really didn't reach stardom like they should have. Kelly Rowland, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson. These are women that didn't overly sexualize themselves to sell records, so their career really didn't go anywhere. But if you look at other people that play into the system, like Lil' Kim, like Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was darker when she first entered the music industry. And she didn't really have any plastic surgery at the time. But after getting plastic surgery, after really changing and enhancing her look, she was able to reach the stardom that others simply could not. Foxy Brown, Remy Ma. A lot of these women didn't reach that level of success because they didn't sell themselves out, basically. And I'm not saying that Nicki Minaj really sold herself out, but she really changed herself to fit in to sell the records that she needed to sell. Now, Lil' Kim, this is a woman that was homeless at the age of 15.
I was 15 years old. I was kicked out of my house. So I was on the street. I was basically homeless. I was forced into doing things that I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, dipping and dabbing with guys that was selling drugs and doing all other types of stuff. And it just, you know, one thing led to another. I was, you know, just in the street doing what I had to do to survive and, you know, messing with this one and that one.
Can you just tell us what you think your image is, or what is your image?
You're so cute now. No, well, I'm a natural. I film, you know what I mean? This comes to me natural. That's why it comes off so well.
Right.
But at the same time, Ann and Biggie, we all sat together when they first started and decided what I should look like, what I should be, how it should go down.
She also went through a lot of abusive relationships. I don't know how many times she has broken her nose when it came to being in an abusive relationship. I don't know how many times her nose was broken. She said in an interview with Angie Martinez that she had, at that time, her nose broke twice, and she kept going to get plastic surgery done to correct it. And it just, her nose has never looked the same. And these are things that, as the public, you know, unless you're a true fan of hers, you really don't know about. So I'm looking at her nose like today, like, oh my gosh, like, why would she do that? But she has been through, this is a woman who has been through a lot. And we sit here and we judge her. And in reality, we can't blame anyone but ourselves. But that means that we have to take some type of accountability, and we have to ask ourselves, how many more little Kims are we raising? How many more little Kims will there be? Also, to us women as a whole, as a collective, when is beauty ever gonna be enough? I mean, we are constantly chasing the next slay. Every day, we are chasing the next slay. We're chasing the next hairstyle, the next makeup look, the next nail look. When is just waking up and looking in the mirror and looking at yourself naturally going to be enough? When is it going to be enough for us? Because at this point, I don't see how much farther we could take this unless we are like getting plastic surgery. At this point, when it comes to the beauty industry, I mean, with the highlighting and the contouring, I mean, we are at the extreme at this point. I've kind of really toned it down lately with just my makeup, and hell, I think I wore makeup once this week because I'm just like, I don't need it. You know, I do my eyebrows and put on a good moisturizer, and I'm walking out the door. That's all I do at this point when it comes to me feeling beautiful. Also, I wanted to shed light on Faith Evans. I don't think Little Kim, I think Faith Evans really shook up Little Kim's world. And the reason why I say that is because it seems like Little Kim and Biggie were really close, and then all of a sudden this little light-skinned girl with lighter skin comes along, and people treated her differently. Biggie treated her differently. And it just seems like, based off of what I've seen with her music, and then also with how she used to dress and how she used to carry herself, it seems like Faith Evans was treated better. She was treated more like a princess, and then Little Kim was kind of treated like the stepchild in a sense, you know, in a more romantic type of way. But honestly, I just felt like that had a lot to do with Little Kim's self-esteem. When Biggie and Faith Evans got together, that affected her in a horrible way because, once again, of course, he went for a woman who is lighter complected, and I'm sure that affected her body image issues when it came to being a black woman in the industry, being a darker complected woman in the industry. I think that had a lot to do with why she looks the way that she looks. I mean, if you compare what she looks like now to other women that are in the industry that are at the highest of stardom within it, like they're on a pedestal basically when it comes to the industry, she looks like them, you know, not in a more puppet type of way, but I mean, she looks like them. Same skin, same hair, same face structure, same everything. So she eventually became who she thought black men wanted. And black men, you have to take some accountability in this situation, because 9 times out of 10, I hate to say it, but when I talk to women on Instagram in my DMs and they're asking me, oh, how did you get your stomach so flat? In most cases, these women are asking me this because they are trying to look a certain way to be more appealing to men. You know, and men, you guys indirectly do it, but you guys indirectly tell us how we should look, how we should dress. You guys indirectly tell us what's beautiful, what's not. I have talked to so many different men, and you guys say you hate makeup, but then you turn around and you are basically bowing down to the women who have the fakest eyelashes, the longest, fakest eyelashes, and you guys bow down to women who cake on makeup every freaking day, and you guys kiss the floor that they walk on, and then you wonder why there are women like Little Kim, you know, and it's really sad. So I really wanted to make this video for so many different reasons. I feel like as a Black community, when it comes to colorism, we are the reason Kim looks the way that she looks. When it comes to men, when it comes to her wearing the fake contacts and her wearing these wigs and her really believing that she is a Spanish girl trapped in a Black woman's body, I blame that on Black men. And I also wanted to make this video because as women in today's society, you have to tell yourself enough is enough. Self-love is all that I need, and I need to embrace myself naturally for who I am and not try to live up to these expectations, because these expectations nowadays are so unrealistic. And if you have a little girl that is looking up to you, I don't care if it's your daughter, your cousin, your sister, or whoever, you little girls are watching us, and we are not asked directly to be role models, but we have a responsibility as grown women to show the younger girls to be confident and to love ourselves. And the only way they're going to learn how to do that is by watching us, by looking up to us. So it's so important that you are careful of what you show and what you display out here when it comes to these younger girls, because they are watching us, they are looking up to us. So this completes the video, you guys. I want your opinion on this situation. Comment down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'm trying to reach 100K here on YouTube, so make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you're notified for when I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.